Hello and welcome back to Mr. Miller's Art Room. I am in fact Mr. Miller. Today we have a very special project. We're going to be using our own letters, the letters that we choose, and we're going to turn them into shapes. The reason that we're going to do this is because when we learn to create shapes with our letters, then that is the first step to making logos. Logos are really important because you can use logos to create different kinds of comic book titles or illustrations, or even brand names such as Nike or Champion. And we need to learn how to modify, that means to change, our lines that we use for writing our letters and turn them into shapes. So, as I've discussed before, a line is a single point from A to B. Don't get confused by the letters that I'm using. Now, we can use these lines to create a letter. Now, this letter is what letter, Mr. Monocle?
Well, I'd say that's the capital letter A.
That's correct, Mr. Monocle. Now, as I've told you before, in order to make a shape, we need to have our lines eventually meet together so that there's an inside and an outside. However, these lines can take different forms, like this is a rectangle, this is a square, triangle, and this is a circle. These lines can also tell us things about stuff, like this arrangement of lines tells me and means the letter A. And the letter A sounds like or a, and A, depending on how it's spelled. Now, we're just going to be dealing with one letter. I'm going to use the letter A. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the letter A, but I'm going to use my pencil very gently on the paper. The reason is that I want to be able to erase the original lines. So, what I'm going to do is lightly just touch the paper, and you should be able to see that. Yep, you can see that. Now, once I've written this letter, what I'm going to do is create shapes around the letter, basically building up a wall. We want to make sure that our shape for this letter is really big. So what I'm going to do is step outside the letter, and I'm going to build a wall around it. This wall is going to be the basis for the shape. Now, I've still got this letter on the inside, and what I want to do is build another wall, like a courtyard, on the inside of that A, like so. And what shape is that?
I'd say that's a triangle.
Now, after that letter is done, we're going to be using one of these. This is a Sharpie. It's a permanent marker, so you have to be careful when you use this. Don't put it on your clothes, because it will never come out of your clothes. Please don't draw on the tables on purpose. Accidents happen, I understand that, and that's not a problem. But doing it on purpose wastes my ink and makes a mess that our table cleaners need to clean. What we're going to do is we're going to use our Sharpie and trace the outside line, not the inside, the outside lines, the lines that we built a wall around. Then what I'm going to do is go ahead and trace it just like this. Now, if your lines aren't exactly touching the pencil line, that's not a problem because our next step is going to take care of it. Remember, we don't need to be perfect. This is not perfect class. This is art class. Now, we want to make sure that we get this triangle on the inside here, like so. And now we're good to go. Our next step is coming.
What's our next step, Mr. Miller?
Our next step is to use an eraser. Now, these are really big erasers, and they can erase very well, but there's a good technique to use. What we need to do is hold the paper down. We don't want to erase in the way that we usually use our pencil erasers because these are so big that it's going to grab the paper, and if we erase regularly, we'll push and then we'll pull, and we'll accidentally pull the paper. We don't want to do that because we could crinkle it. The next thing I'm going to do is take my eraser. I'm going to hold the paper down, I'm going to put it down on the paper, I'm going to push, pick it up, pull it back, replace it, and push. And if I do that multiple times, go right over top of this ink. The ink will stay because it's permanent, which means that it stays. It won't go away. I turn the paper, and I push, push, push. And the way this looks, if you get really good at this, you can do it pretty quick. I'm pushing, picking up, replacing, and just basically going in a wheel-like motion. Now, after this is done, we can brush off our eraser gribblies, and we've got a letter shape. Now, you could do this with any letter. Here's the letter B. I'm going to do a capital because they're big and they're fun. But you could do this with lowercase as well. If you can draw a line, you can draw a shape. Now the letter B has this connection right here, but I might not necessarily want that connection. What I'm going to do is build a wall around the letter B, like so. Then what I'm going to do is kind of follow this pattern. See, this almost looks like a letter D. I'm going to make the letter D here and the letter D here. Don't get confused. It's not the letter D. It's just the opening for the letter B. I'm going to take my Sharpie. I'm going to ink it.
Mr. Miller, you missed a spot. You missed it entirely. Look.
Right here?
Yes.
Well, like I said, if you miss the line, it's not a big deal. It's not perfect, class.
It's art class.
Now, what we're going to do is take our Sharpie, and we're going to finish these right here. 1 and 2. We're going to cap it. Every time you're done with using the Sharpie, we put the cap back on so it doesn't dry out. Then we grab the eraser, and we push, 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 push. And after we've cleaned it up, we have this shape right here. It's got an inside and an outside. What do we do after that?
I'd say we should color it and decorate it.
I agree, Mr. Monocle. How about actually, why don't I use the first letter of my name, that's the letter M for Mr. Miller, and what I'll do is I'll decorate around it with things that mean something to me. I've got the letter M here, and I think what I'll do is I'll add, let's see, I love art, so I'm going to add a paintbrush and an easel. An easel is what we use to put paint on so that we can paint stuff. I have a set of glasses, so maybe I'll add some glasses to it. I love shapes, so now I'm going to add a variety of different shapes around it. Now I'm going to use my Sharpie to ink all of these lines. Now that it's all inked up, you can see a couple of the pencil lines here and there throughout the paper. That's when I go ahead and use this eraser, hold it down at the bottom middle, wherever the paper is. You can turn the paper if you need to, if you need a different angle, as long as you're holding the paper just about at the center and then pushing away from you. What we're going to do is go ahead and push, 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 push. Remember, I'm not pulling it backward because you can crumple your paper and bend it. You push, pick it up, put it back, push, 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 and do this until you're satisfied that all the pencil marks that you put on your paper are gone. Now that it's all done, I'm going to color it, and I almost never get a chance to utilize markers. So today I'm going to try these out. Yellow-orange, red-orange, and I just want to remind you that just because I'm coloring it this way doesn't mean that you have to color it with the same colors or even in the same way. Now let me keep going here. I did red, yellow, and blue paint for the easel. Not the easel, I mean the palette. My glasses in real life are black, but I don't have black, so I'm going to use this purple. I decided this doesn't look right here with this arm of this glasses. I want this arm to actually extend over. So I'm going to finish the arm over here just like this. And then I'm going to color it in. That feels better. Purple and light green triangle. A lot of palettes back in the day were made of wood, so I made a wood palette here. Blue and orange are complementary colors. I think adding these patterns inside this diamond shape give it a little lustrous view. We've got a pattern for the star. I add a little bit of extra detail in the circle. And here's my finished letter. So, if this is something you'd like to try, Go ahead and give it a whirl. Remember, you can always rewind, pause this video at any point in time, and follow the steps very slowly. Thank you very much, and have a good day.
We said good day.